Hello interwebs, welcome to Let's Fix Computers. This is a quick follow-up to the very brief video I did about the Fractal Torrent fan hub problem, specifically the Nexus 9P Slim fan hub that comes with the Torrent case. This was recalled by Fractal like within about a week or so of the case coming out, and everyone was a bit like, oh, what's going on? So the new ones have now come in. This arrived with me yesterday. And so I thought I did say to you guys I'd do a follow-up video, so here it is. Here's a quick study showing the differences between the two. So firstly, just a recap on what was wrong with the original one. This is the one that comes with the case. So as you can see, it's a very, very basic 9-port fan hub. What it does is you have this guy here. This goes to a fan header on your motherboard, and it grabs the PWM signal, and it returns an RPM signal from fan 1. So the PWM signal is then sent to all 9 of these fans. So you plug this into, say, chassis fan 1 on your motherboard, set that to 50% fan duty cycle, and it will set all 9 fans on this hub to 50%. Then, because obviously you can't power 9 fans from a single header on your motherboard, it's got a 12-volt input that goes back to a SATA connector to provide power to those fans. Very simple device. As you can see, there's no circuitry, passive or active, on this thing. It's just simple like hub. Joins wires together. So what was the problem with it? There were a couple of potential flaws with this thing. The first one being exactly the same mistake that NZXT made with their riser, their PCI Express riser. And that was that these holes are not plated through holes. And what that means is, let me go in for the close-up. I'm trying to do this in one take. So notice how the solder mask, this black top layer, goes all the way up to the edge of that hole. And the inside of the hole, that's just bare PCB. And what that means is that when you're screwing this in, if the screw scratches up the inside of that hole or scratches the top solder mask here, it will contact the metal directly. And that's a problem because this entire top solder mask, this entire top layer is all 12 volts. And just for posterity, I'll just demonstrate that now. If I set my multimeter into beep mode, continuity mode, and we put our black probe on the 12 volt pin, and I've just scratched the top here, and as you can hear, there is continuity to this entire top layer. So if you scratch up the top layer when you're putting in the screw with an electric screwdriver in the factory, you short your 12 volt layer to ground. And that was the main problem with this thing. And the chances of, you had to actually scratch it for that to turn into an issue, but that can happen in manufacturing. The customer might do it. If they take it in and out many times, there's a loss of risk there. That's the issue. So that was the primary problem. So these holes are not through plated, and having a flood-filled 12-volt plane is just generally a terrible idea anyway. So resolutions to this, the flood-filled 12-volt plane, although that's a terrible idea, they could have resolved this just by pulling back the flood fill around these holes. Normally on a motherboard or any other device, you would see there'll be a few millimeters of gap around the hole, just so if the screw does start eating into the hole, it doesn't bite into the actual copper layer. So therein lies the issue. So here's the updated version. And as you can see straight away, plated through holes. So we have metal plating on those screw holes, which means these screws now, they cannot contact anything they're not supposed to. I'll give you the close-up again, just so you can see what that looks like. So as you can see, that's all metal plating in there. So that's much stronger. It's not going to get eaten up. I mean, yeah, it's kind of overkill. Just pulling back the power planes would have been enough, but plated through holes, even better. And again, also you can see there's a 1mm gap around there as well. There doesn't need to be because this is ground. So that could have been contacting, but it's fine. It doesn't matter. So that's that. They've also redesigned it so this top layer is no longer 12 volts. You can see at the 12 volt pin there that there's no contact there, and it's actually going to the ground pin instead. So this top layer is now grounded. So even if somehow the screw were to contact this top layer, it's just going to ground, so there's no risk at all there. There's no problem. So the 12 volt is all on the back now. So they've now redesigned this. So on the back, you can see the square pin there. That's our 12 volt coming in. Let me get a smaller pointer. So our 12 volt pin is here, and you can see that goes onto this big fat trace that goes along to the 12 volt pin on each of the fan headers. So there's those three, and all along here, goes all the way along to the end. Now this makes this 12 volt trace significantly thinner, which drastically reduces its current handling. But it's still quite a thick trace. This should be fine. Fans don't pull that much voltage, and if you were running 9 fans in this thing, they're not going to be super high power fans. So I can't see any concern about that at all. So there's that. Then that top one there, that's going along. That will be our PWM signal going along there. And then that's got vias periodically. That goes to the PWM signal there. Then the RPM trace again, that goes along there and over to there. It goes through the board. And that pops out probably somewhere underneath there to go to the RPM pin there on fan 1. And that's it. So as you can see, this one is specifically marked version 1.1. So you can tell from a mile away which one you have, because A, the new one has plated through holes, and B, it's marked version 1.1. This one has no version markings on it. Other markings on the back are just manufacturing markings. Nothing particularly exciting there. So that's it. That's the updated fan hub, and that ends the saga, really. This one is basically how it should have been from the start. If they wanted to save money on not doing plated through holes, they could have just pulled back the solder mask just so it wasn't right up to the edge of the holes like that. That was pretty careless, to be honest. I'm curious as to whether they've done that on previous models and they just got caught out on this one. Either way, this got turned around really quick. So again, while it's a problem that shouldn't have happened in the first place, hats off to Fractal for taking it head on and just dishing out an updated board that was fixed just straight away, no questions asked, no fuss, no cost. Just go to the Fractal website, fill out the form, and you get your free updated hub. So that's all I got for you today. Thank you very much, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. Toodaloo.